Hey, what's up, geeks? Darron here. In this video, I want to talk about remote software development. COVID has completely changed the game for software developers, and I want to talk about the benefits of working as a software developer remotely in 2022. Also, if you're interested in learning React Native, in the description below, there's links to courses, our free course, the free course React Native Without the Bullshit, and then also there's a link to our Facebook group. The Facebook group is designed for us to exchange information. If you need help with any of your projects, or if you learn anything new about React Native, or you need any help with like employment. Now, I think that's a great way for us to network and to create a React Native community. But anyways, let's get into it. So I'm not sure how long you've been following me, but I kind of told you my backstory on like COVID and how it's impacted me about a few years ago. Can't believe it's been that long. But prior to COVID, man, I was in a horrible situation. It was a really toxic work environment, and I just wanted out. And ever since COVID happened and we were working remotely, I was able to remove myself from toxic people and toxic situations, and I put myself in a better position where I can negotiate. I think the biggest thing for COVID, for working remotely, is that you don't have to deal with annoying coworkers. It's as a software developer, I want to say that we can be nitpicky, and we overthink things just in general. You know, we're thinkers, we're problem solvers. But if you're working if you're working as a developer and you're doing that, it's like not only are you annoying, but you have some level of intelligence. And anybody, honestly, if you're working on a team like that and in upper management, they're not software developers themselves, they won't know how to really determine what's really going on. They won't really be able to see like the abuse that's happening. But I had a situation where it was just like developers who weren't even React Native developers trying to teach me about React Native and get offended if you would let them know like, hey, that's not, a React Native practice. I think we were doing code fusion on the web, so it wasn't even a JavaScript tool or framework. But for whatever reason, we had that. And then like in code reviews for the most part, I want to say they went by pretty simple. They're pretty good, but there was just a lot of like in-work gossip, and then like things unrelated to what I was doing at work, and it was becoming the norm. But now we work remotely, I don't have to worry about that. There's if I don't like a situation, I can easily just withdraw from the situation. I had a situation where I quit the job on the first day after I saw how the project manager was treating me and the other new developers. Granted, we were contract developers, and this isn't true for all contracting developers. I've had great experience working contract work, but it really just depends on the project manager that you guys have, and what their tolerance level it looks like. And for me, working as a developer remotely, this kind of just like, it lets me know like, hey, I could save up. I saved up a good amount of money. I save up a good amount of fuck you money, and whenever there's a situation, I'm just kind of like, this isn't gonna work for me. I can easily just remove myself. Now, the next point I want to get into is the amount of opportunities that are available for remote developers today. Most companies today, they allow developers to work remotely. There's a few states that prefer to have the developers in-house, and that's going to be, I have my own opinions about that. But for me, I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. I personally don't work for any companies in Utah. I worked for one company, the company I worked for, and that was it for me. If you know anything about Utah, compared to like California and New York, it just isn't going to pay as much. It's not a competitive market. The only benefit of working in Utah is if you're from Utah, you're from the culture, you're the Mormon religion, and you grew up here, because you're going to be comfortable. But if you're not from here, you definitely have a lot of you have not only the opportunities to work here, but then you also have opportunities to work for other companies. I've made the most money I've ever made in my life working remotely since COVID. And it's because now companies can compete for the best developers. So as a developer, a lot of times companies have to give you a reason why you should leave their company and go to their company. And before, that was happening only in the San Francisco Bay Area, because there's so many different companies, there was so many different startups, and there were so many developers and people would hop jobs so fast, but that wasn't common in Utah or like smaller states. But ever since COVID, now it's like it changed the game. People that were working in the Bay Area, they can relocate and still work for a company in the Bay Area. And then also those companies that were located in the Bay Area, they can compete for developers like around the country. So it's definitely benefited remote software developers. And this is one of the best options of being a remote developer is the flexibility. I remember working in the office as a developer, and sometimes you can just finish your tickets like within a few hours, and then you're just like doing busy work for the rest of the day. And then when you have busy work, that just opens the door for all kinds of different crap. And I don't have time for that. I'm more of like an introvert. I don't like gossiping at the workplace. I don't mind having lunch with coworkers every now and then, but I'm really to myself for the most part. I don't mind having a good conversation talking about sports. Had a coworker, we would talk about fantasy football. I still do fantasy football with this guy. But for the most part, I don't like to gossip and I don't like to start drama. And now that I work remotely, I have the flexibility to utilize my time a lot better. Because I'm at the house, I can wake up earlier. I can go to the gym. I can start my day later. I can, if I want to go for a longer lunch, I go for lunch. The biggest thing is that I complete my tickets and I'm available. Like people can contact me and it's easy for me to actually respond to them and get things done. And your flexibility is going to depend on what company you work for. Because, for example, I've worked for companies, man, honestly, where we would have tickets, so many different tickets during the sprint, but then we'll also have a lot of meetings, and the meetings will get in the way of us completing our tickets. So, and then I've worked for companies as well we would have one morning meeting, and it's like, okay, you let us know where you're at, you let us know what issues you have. If there's a developer you need to meet with after this meeting, meet with them. And that was the only meeting, then from there, they just trust you to do all the work you need to do. They trust you to reach out if you need help. And those ones are awesome. I work for those ones as well. The only reason I would choose, only thing that goes over flexibility, I would say, is like the tech stack. If I'm working for a company that's doing something super cool that I've never done for the most part, then, I'm more flexible when it comes to the amount of flexibility that I'm given. Because if you're a software developer, you kind of do the same things day in and day out. Regardless of what company you go to, you're going to be creating things, deleting things, updating things, reading things, or for the most part, you're not even going to be creating functionality. You're going to be dealing with bugs. So when there's an opportunity for me to build an application from the bottom up, or to just do anything that's like relatively new, I'm definitely going to take that opportunity. But anyways, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're interested in enrolling in GeekMODE School of React Native, there's a free course in the description. Also, there's a Facebook group that I really want people to check out, because in the Facebook group, it's going to allow us to build a React Native community. And within that community, we can exchange our projects. We can even help each other get employed. I've had developers reach out to me for employment, and it's been going well. So I think that if we had a hub to network, to discuss issues related to React Native, it's just going to help us become better developers and put more money in our pockets and food in our mouth. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll check you next time. Peace.